It's time, my friends, to once and for all decide the best religion in EU4 in the most scientific, objective way possible. We set up each religion as one nation and let them duke it out to decide who wins. The Catholics in the West, the Hindus in the East, or the Muslims in the middle. Who you got? I love these sorts of fun scenarios and they always make for fun viewing, and I hope that you enjoy it as well. If you want to check out the mod, it's going to be linked in the description, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe while you're down there. Thanks. And real quick, if you're looking for a fun way to get involved with myself or my community, patrons and channel members get exclusive fancy roles and access to supporter-only chats in the Discord. It's a fun time in there, and I want to invite you in if you want to support. You'll also get early access to all the videos on this channel. Check out the links in the description. All right. This is literally the meme. This is like the meme of Pam from the office saying,
"Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture."
They're literally the same picture. And they are. We've got a lot of really interesting nations and a lot of like land to cover. Some are going to be very powerful, some maybe not so much, but I'm very much looking forward to this. I let a month go by, that way we could see who the great powers are. Kingdom of God by a long shot, but the Ottomans are going to be super powerful. Bharat over in India in the third spot, very strong as well. And then is when it starts to kind of fall off there. But we've got zero institutions going on over in the New World. So Cherokee, Congo, and these guys in South America not feeling too good. But I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I do hope we don't see the Europeans run away with it. Sunni is a fairly strong religion in the game, as is Shia with their military buffs. So hopefully we see something interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Who are you guys rooting for? I definitely want to know in the comments below. Uh-oh, Dum Dum Ottomans releasing a bunch of aylets over here. We've got this Adal and then Persia over here. I imagine they're probably going to be releasing some more. I also forgot about Abadi. Very cool. They get 10% goods produced, which is just like cool. It's a nice little modifier, and it's a kind of an obscure religion, at least in the game. So I'm a fan, man. And some things just don't change. Mongol Empire has like no army. They never really had an army by the looks of it. All this land is like absolute garbage, like 3 dev forest provinces. It's not really that surprising, but the Mongols are a strong nation. They have really good national ideas. Either way, Ming is taking a steamy poo on them. They've lost a ton of men, almost exclusively to attrition, and they're going to win the war anyways, despite, you know, killing off all their men, because, you know, China, the empire, all that stuff. It's very overpowered, at least when it's going well. Yo, and after the war, Ming solo getting floated by Dai Viet as their tributary. They did not end up getting tributary status of the Mongols. So we may not see Ming thrive. I think it's kind of foolish that they were given the mandate, but you know, maybe they'll be able to make it happen. I mean, that would be pretty crazy, but I kind of doubt it. Yeah, this was only a matter of time. With a nation that is so entirely spread apart like Persia, Ottomans have to be eyeballing them, and they've attacked them very quickly. They were guaranteeing Oman, but I don't think anything's going to happen with that. So probably going to see at least borders cleaned up. I doubt they're going to be able to take a whole lot of land because it is still early game. But yeah, Sunni Islam beating up on Shia Islam. What's new? Hey, yo, it's the world according to that new like Disney Plus show about Echo, the superhero, right? Amputee chick. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I'm not going to watch it, but she's Cherokee, so made me think of that. While we're here, the Mayans are having some issues. I think Mosquito was kicked out of the Mayans. So seeing a bit of things going on there. I actually don't know if people kept their cores. They did. So we're going to see nations pop out as rebels. I'm almost certain of that. Okay, that definitely makes things a little more interesting. Yeah, they took quite a bit. You can see their cores over here. The Ottomans took all that, and just a few years later, we're back at it again. Lots of red surrounding lots of green, and I definitely think that Sunni is going to come out on top as the, you know, the primary Islam religion of the world. At least in this timeline, it's going to be pretty one-sided, I think. On the diplomacy front, we're seeing Ming allied with Cherokee, so that's pretty good. Kingdom of God allied to Ethiopia. Congo allied to Bharat, and Tibet allied with Yazd, the Zoroastrian nation, because of course. Makes me a little sad that we're not going to see Sikh on the map because it's not there in 1444. It actually spawns after the game start, but that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan. Rip to Oman. Otto Blom gonna gobble them up. Definitely to be expected. I mean, they're eating everybody else. Yeah, I mean, no surprise here. We have the Kingdom of God absolutely destroying Byzantium, but you can't be that surprised about it. I mean, the development discrepancy is pretty nutty. Pope Man just decided to go for good borders. He connected his lands with Transylvania over here, and took like one province over here in like Lithuania. So that's pretty good. And one in Finland, you know, got to spread Catholicism up there, I suppose. Oman did get annexed. Somehow we have a free Basra. I think they probably popped out of Persia, if I had to guess. And Persia is like a couple of provinces here with this Isfahan, one province minor, as well as Afghanistan, Yarkand. So we've got a couple of little one province minors. I think they all popped out of Persia, but I'm not 100% on that. I am surprised to see that Ethiopia is just chilling. They're not getting attacked by the Ottomans, and I think it's because they have a friend in the Kingdom of God. So this would be a really good kind of catalyst to get the Kingdom of God versus the Ottomans. I would absolutely love to see that, and I do hope that we see it soon. And yeah, as expected, the unguarded nomadic frontier happened because they didn't subjugate the Mongol Empire, and it's only a matter of time before we have a Ming explosion, which should create a bit of a feeding frenzy in the area. That would be good to see. We have another war with the Ottomans, this time attacking Byzantium. Byzantium getting some occupations over here, but Gallipoli has been sieged down, and that is the war goal right next to their capital. So I imagine Byzantium is probably not long for this world. I would imagine we're probably going to see some breakaway stuff eventually, and I do believe the Kingdom of God took a couple more provinces very recently from them, so it's really not looking good for Byzantium and the Orthoros. Really not looking good. Meanwhile, across the pond, it is not looking good for the animists over here, and I have no idea where the Aztecs went. Well, I guess I do have an idea. They joined the Cherokee Nation. All of them. Full annexed. So there you go. Yikes. Yeah, Byzantium is really not doing well. They keep getting like annexed over and over again, and their lands are completely useless. The land that they do have left that is not occupied like every few years by one of these guys is going to be like so devastated that they don't really get any benefits from it. So safe to say Ortho Bros absolutely just coping and seething. They're done. They're not going anywhere. Hussite still exists as one province here in Prague, but obviously Bohemia got annexed like immediately, and I didn't catch it. It appears that aside from Coptic, Catholic is going to be the only Christian religion, because I don't think we're going to see the Reformation. I don't think it's going to happen. And as expected, just like 20 years later, 30 years later, Byzantium is gone. Essentially, we've got a couple of breakaway states, but that's it. Byzantium is on their way out all the way over here in Russia. And also probably on their way out is going to be Ming getting dumpstered by Bharat, as of all people, which is very funny to see. And they have zero mandate, and it ain't going up. So Ming definitely done. And you hate to see it, New Providence, the animist pirate republic over here in the Bahamas, led by Captain Benjamin, is it's getting annexed. I mean, what else is there to say? The Totemists decided that they wanted to annex the animist pirates. Rip. Meanwhile, Ethiopia getting gobbled up by the Ottomans, despite their big ally of the Kingdom of God over here. Not looking well, and probably not going to be around for too long, though. If they can hold out until the Ottomans' technology and their military pips fall off, maybe they can make it happen, but I wouldn't get my hopes up about it. But I am a huge fan of Tver hanging in there inside the Kingdom of God with Perm popped out over here, and Byzantium, a one province minor with their capital in like whatever this is, Komi over here on the other side of the Ural Mountains in Siberia. So there you go. Bharat does continue to beat up on Ming. They haven't collapsed the rebels yet, and I'm very surprised about that. Though Japan has gotten in, and it looks like they're also going to war with the Ming over and over again, taking some land. So Ming on their way out, but also on their way out is the Mongol Empire, because Tibet decided to choose violence and just dumpstered them, I guess. There's like 10 development over here, so I'm very surprised that Tibet managed to pull through, but I guess the Mongols have even less development, so can't be too surprised. Meanwhile, over here, the Cherokee are continuing to dominate. I know I just mentioned them annexing the Bahamas over there, but they've also taken quite a bit of land from the Animist Nation down here, and including the pushing over almost into Panama, over into South America. So they have kind of continually been occupying a bunch of land and then piecing out, taking like 3 or 4 provinces. So maybe we're actually going to see some like meaningful border changes here within the next few decades. I definitely expect it. And I seemingly spoke too soon, because the Ottomans are getting ganged up on by the Kingdom of God and Bharat. It's about 1580. So I think it's been about 40 or 50 years since I last checked. There's a couple of breakaway nations, though I don't know if they're from the Ottomans or from the Mongols. Byzantium still going strong up north. It looks like Ethiopia has actually taken a ton of land from them. And it looks like they're basically getting partitioned right now. Now, one bad war is not really the end of the world, but if they spiral, they're done. I mean, if they go bankrupt like one time, they literally will spiral and die. So this could be basically the beginning of the end for them, kind of like the Ming. Though Siam is doing really good as well. So there's a whole lot of like really cool growth going on, and I'm definitely here for it. Like Tibet, or Japan, or these guys down here who are eating up the Inca, or the Cherokee, who are massive and are like continually going to war and then occupying them, and then like either not taking land or taking a tiny bit of land. I'm not really sure. But on the religious map mode, you can see just how much provinces have been taken and or converted for the other religions. Catholic is absolutely doing well. Orthodox is like just on their way out, and Sunni is very occupied, but for the most part, I think things are going pretty well. Lots of really quick conversions though. I'm definitely happy to see lots of conversions. The religious map mode is going to be pretty cool, I think, towards the end. And yeah, there was a rise of the Ottomans, and there inevitably was a fall. Didn't expect it, but I think between Berat and the Kingdom of God ganging up on them, they couldn't make it back. We have a giant Ethiopia that has risen from the ashes, which is so cool to see. We also have some land over here for them and a bunch of little nations popping out. Ardabil is here, but no Persia. So we very well may see a little bit of Shia representation. We got a couple of random tags over here, a couple of random tags over here. Honestly, just really cool to see a bunch of nations popping out of the Ottomans, because we only had like, 10 tags in the beginning, or however many religions there are. And seeing new ones popping out is pretty sweet. Byzantium is thriving over here, having a bit of a renaissance on the other side of the Urals. Tibet has made their way over into annexing these nations over here, the tribes of like Chukchi and them. Berat and Long Siam having a bit of a standoff here, but don't worry, Ming is still around. And it looks like the Cherokee have taken some land over here in Havana and other parts of Cuba, though it looks like they may have lost a province here. I want to say that they had land like over to here, and they've kind of like had some trade-offs. But we've got some rebels going on in South America. It's really still very much up in the air. So about halfway through the timeline, about 200 years in, we have the Kingdom of God gaining about 2,000 development, if I recall correctly. And then it's just a huge fall off from that. Berat taking a decent chunk of dev from the Ottomans, with the Ottomans only at 1,200, which is absolutely insane. We still don't have any institutions in the New World, but those guys are deceivingly strong, I think. Deceptively strong, I guess I should say. Congo still sub 2,000, and then Siam and Tibet with sub 1,000 in the Great Powers list. A fully stacked economic hegemon for the Papal States, the Kingdom of God, rather. And yeah, I think we know who the winner is. It's going to be Europe, basically, in Europa Universalis. Who would have thunk it? Updates coming fast and hard at you with the Ottomans gone, I'm pretty sure. I don't see them anywhere. We do have Berat getting beat up on by Kingdom of God right now, but there is a ton of breakaway nations down here. I am a big fan of this like absolute Thunderdome going on in Arabia, kind of like Arabia, like in the EU4 timeline, just saying. It's pretty cool to see. We've got Oman back on the map, a couple of nations that have grown up and are a little bit bigger. We do have the Ottomans here, 2 provinces, but they're about to get annexed by Basra, I guess, or Oman. Not only is the KOG dumpstering Berat, they're also dumpstering Congo on the other front. Just goes to show how strong they really are, which is, it's really impressive. And I didn't think I'd see this, but the boys in South America, I'm not going to say their name because I don't know how to pronounce it, are beating the Cherokee. They've kicked them out of Cuba. They've taken southern Florida. So instead of being Cuban, now they're whatever this is. And then they've also pushed past the Yucatan Peninsula into Mexico. So we're definitely seeing a bit of a shift of power over here in the New World, and I didn't expect this, but it's very cool to see. With 100 years left, there's been so much back and forth going on between these continents here. I did not expect to see Papal Veracruz. I mean, I know that the Mexicans tend to be quite Catholic, but this is a whole different way to interpret that. I do also just appreciate like the natural borders between the Congo and the Kingdom of God over here, with Ethiopia just like slowly carving up the land over here. But though I think they may have lost a little bit of land to the Congo, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. They are still allied for now. I don't imagine for long, because bordering nations tend to want to take lands from their bordering nations, at least in EU4. The nations over here have cleaned up quite a bit. Oman is now dad. We have Berat eating them, but they're getting eaten as well. Shout out Georgia, just chilling over here in the Caucasus. And shout out Byzantium with beautiful name placement, looking very good, having definitely a bit of a renaissance. I mentioned before that they were doing okay. They started with this province here. They were 1 province minor. And now they're up to like almost 30 provinces. And I mean, it's mostly garbage steppe land, but still, it's something. Siam ended up taking a giant chunk of land from Tibet, who's been exiled out of Tibet into Siberia and Manchuria. So that's pretty good to see. Ming still clinging on for dear life. 4 provinces left. Very funny. 5 if you count this one over here in Korea. So yeah, I think that Bharat is doing incredibly well. It'd be really funny to see how far the Kingdom of God will push them out of China. But I still can't believe the Ottomans collapsed like they did. Like, they must have just been like the perfect storm between the two of these nations, giving them a nice big squeezy hug. And I haven't talked about it, but you know, this tribe down here in Australia is just here. You know, they literally have done nothing for 300 years. They're just chilling. Also, shout out Dai Viet, 1 province minor over here in like the Malay Peninsula, and then this Vietnam or whatever, 2 provinces over here in Southeast Asia. So both pretty good tags to see. So with 100 years left to go, the Kingdom of God still out in front, but actually not that much in front of Bharat when you really think about it. That is pretty cool to see. We have the Congo in the 3rd spot, though they are actually behind the Cherokee. That's something. They had 0 last time we looked, so they have 2 of 6 now. So still behind, but not terribly behind, all things considered. We then have Tibet in the 4th spot, but it's only because other people haven't embraced institution. They will swiftly fall once the other nations embrace those institutions. So we then have the Ethiopians, Siamese, and the people from South America rounding out the top 8. And we have the Kingdom of God, though it looks like their economic hegemon dropped. They were at 100%. So I'm not really sure what happened there. They may have lost a war, quote unquote, but who knows? And though early on, I thought that they were going to be the biggest loser, Byzantium, in my opinion, one of the biggest winners, coming out not on top, of course, but better than they used to be, with like 1 province that they had before, and exclusively like 1444 provinces in the end. I'm a big fan. I think that's hilarious. Ming holding on and not dying out is also incredibly impressive to see, especially considering the massive nations that surround them. And this Eora nation for conquering Papua. Legendary. Bharat ended up having a really good comeback. Despite getting dumpstered by the Kingdom of God for like 100 years, they're still doing honestly very fine. I would not say that they are like getting beat up on too much. They've been pushed back, but they've also grown quite a bit over here and a ton over here. And there's a lot of development in these regions. Sadly, Ethiopia not doing so well, getting eaten up by their former allies of the Kingdom of God. But for some reason, we have Sardinia released over here and Crete. So take from that what you will. We do also have an independent Iceland. These guys are just chilling over here. I don't know how they got free, but there they are. And in the back and forth that was the Americas, North America on top, as always, I would know. And they conquered a bunch of Colombian lands as well as the Caribbean after a bunch of back and forth, and they're beating up on them pretty bad right now. So pretty cool to see the back and forth that was going on over here. I enjoyed this kind of like little mini game within the game. In the end, a lot of religions ended up almost getting exterminated entirely, with Buddhism very much a shell of what it once was, a couple of provinces here and there. Same with Confucianism. Sunni may actually be like almost there, but Shia, I'm pretty sure, is gone. Ibadi is gone. It's kind of crazy. I didn't expect it to go this well. I did expect Catholic to do well. I didn't expect them to dominate like they did, but with all that development early on, the snowball is pretty inevitable, and it happens pretty fast. Very happy to see Coptic doing well, and I think Hindu is probably the big winner of the day in terms of expanding. Maybe this Buddhism over here, but I don't know. Tengri is pretty easy to convert, so not really too surprising to see them convert a ton. Totemists and animists were kind of meh, you know, fetishists as well, also pretty meh. I don't know how much they actually converted, maybe some like Islam stuff over here, but that was really about it. Because most culture groups were almost entirely controlled by a single nation, you see a ton of these conversions. Like English is like the primary culture of the entire island over here, Frankian over here, Occitan over here, Polish, Rhenish conquering like the entirety of Germany. Very funny to see. And then over here, we've got Greek getting pushed out by the Turks, and they converted a ton of land over here in the Levant to Turkish as well. So that's pretty sweet. The New World doesn't seem to have changed much in terms of cultures. Definitely safe to say that Africa has, though, with Jakun, the winner over here, with Luba over here, and Congolese and Swabantu over here. I don't think I've ever heard of any of these cultures, which is it's pretty cool and shows how ignorant I am. Very cool little mod. I'm a huge fan of things like this, and if you guys have a suggestion of something like this that you'd like to see in the future, leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like on it. Don't forget to subscribe and support me on Patreon, or join the channel and get early access to all the videos and special roles and chats in the Discord. I appreciate you making it to the end of the video, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.
Special thanks to Kaiser Dar of Acadia, Sheol, Gamus23, Ian Powell, Cannon Fodder, Josh Kopczynski, Agent Rhino, Blonde Damon, Isaiah, Rover, Bubba J, Saranska, Ricardo, Cobalt, Rex, Nathan Albright, and many more.